Welcome to the year 2100. It's a great time to be alive. Well, hypothetically. Go ahead, take a look out the window. Oh wait, we don't really have those anymore. The outside world has essentially turned into a giant planetary-scale convection oven. Extreme temperatures have torn right through the ozone layer, letting cosmic radiation throw a constant rave party on the surface. And the soil?
Behold, this
It's cracked and dried
Under
up,
pressure, it
looking
morphs
less
into a
like
giant
fertile earth
overbaked
and more
cookie.
like an
A
overbaked
simple
radioactive
transformation,
chocolate
revealing
chip
the hidden
cookie.
potential.
For the few folks caught outside, it's a daily struggle against thick, toxic dust storms. Not a great look for your feathers. The oceans have acidified into a bubbling neon purple soup, dissolving marine life like an aspirin dropped in water. Insects? Extinct. And along with them, the delicate web of traditional agriculture just collapsed and faded into dust. Farming the old-fashioned way is completely dead. But hey, don't hit the panic button just yet. Because right when the apocalypse hit its absolute peak, humanity did what it does best. We engineered our way out of it. Amidst this ocean of deadly dust and heat, we built ourselves a colossal high-tech life raft. Welcome to the high-tech Biodome, a glorious, glowing sanctuary standing defiantly in the middle of a literal wasteland. Inside, it's a perfectly simulated miniature Earth, run 24/7 by a massive network of humming machines and flawless algorithms. Sure, spending your entire life sealed permanently inside a giant glass bubble might sound a tiny bit claustrophobic to some. But look on the
Hi,
bright
everyone.
side.
Look at this
It's your
awesome burger.
absolute last
It's
chance
filled
to
with
enjoy a
glowing
meal
neon
that
lettuce
isn't
and a purple
90%
patty.
sand.
And
Bon
remember,
appetit!
it's not
So how did we end up sealing ourselves inside giant glowing terrariums? Welcome to the Biodome future. To understand this, we need to rewind a bit. Back in the 21st century, humanity essentially decided to deep fry the atmosphere. We pumped out emissions, acting like this planetary oven was a great success, until it really wasn't. For 10,000 years, agriculture relied on one very fragile thing: the weather. But when the climate lost its mind and threw a permanent fiery tantrum, the entire global food supply chain collapsed like a house of cards. The soil lost its living microbes, turning into dead, barren dust. Freshwater lakes and rivers simply boiled away into the increasingly toxic sky. And plants simply couldn't photosynthesize under the thick, permanent blankets of ash. We were completely out of options. If the outside world was trying to kill nature, we had to pack up the entire concept of nature and violently drag it indoors. The traditional greenhouse, once just a cute glass shed for growing backyard tomatoes, had to aggressively evolve into colossal closed-loop survival machines. The Biodomes. But wait a minute. How can a giant glass bubble survive a raging 150-degree apocalyptic sandstorm? Regular glass would shatter instantly, or turn your beautiful biodome into a literal roasting pan. That's why the
Observe this
glass isn't
hexagonal
actually
data core.
glass at all.
The particles
It's an
represent
absolute
information
miracle of
streams.
material
It processes
science.
data.
Meet Aerogel, one of the lightest solids on Earth, sandwiched between advanced, smart polymers. The Biodome shell is essentially a multi-layered sandwich of extreme engineering. The outer layer acts as an absolute bouncer, effortlessly blocking 99% of deadly cosmic and UV radiation. The middle aerogel layer is the ultimate insulator. It can be 150 degrees of pure hell outside and perfectly chilly inside. But it's smart enough to act like a VIP club bouncer, only letting the specific plant-loving wavelengths of sunlight filter through. And then there's the shape. Why a giant sphere instead of a giant glass box? The geodesic dome, made of interlocking triangles, is quite literally one of the strongest structures allowed by physics. If you build a normal square box in a hyper-hurricane, the wind will essentially punch it flat into a pancake. But wind just gracefully slides right over a dome, applying equal, gentle pressure everywhere. So when a monstrous Category 6 megastorm rolls through the wasteland, roaring like a freight train, the structure barely even shakes, and you don't even spill a single drop of your morning coffee. The outer shell is our invincible shield. But the real magic? That happens on the inside. Once inside, there is an immediate glaring problem. Space is extremely limited. If we planted crops the old-fashioned flat way, there'd be absolutely no room left for, well, us. So we don't farm across, we farm up. Welcome to the magic of vertical farming. These are giant futuristic skyscrapers of food that can multiply crop yields by 100 times per square meter. But hauling millions of tons of heavy, messy dirt up a 100-story tower? A logistical nightmare. Instead, we ditched the dirt entirely. Welcome to hydroponics, growing plants directly in nutrient-rich water. And its overachieving sci-fi cousin, aeroponics. The roots literally hang in thin air, sprayed by precise robotic misters. This system is a miracle. It uses up to 95% less water than traditional farming because every single drop is captured and recycled. But stacking plants creates a new headache. The plants at the bottom get absolutely zero sunlight. Enter artificial lighting. But not just any light. Yuck! Plants actually hate green light. They literally spit it back out at your eyes. What they truly crave is a strict, optimized diet of pure red and blue wavelengths. So by bathing the crops exclusively in pink and purple LED light, we maximize photosynthesis and save massive amounts of electricity. Plus, there's no nighttime, no winter, no clouds. Just 24/7 relentless, optimized, high-speed growth. Plants grow up to 3 times faster, completely free of pests, pesticides, and the whims of a dying planet. The result? A perpetual motion machine of perfect, crunchy, ultra-nutritious food. It's basically an infinite food glitch. But food is just part of the equation. To survive long-term inside a sealed bubble, we have to play God. We need to perfectly replicate an entire planet's ecosystem from absolute scratch. Enter the closed-loop system. Let's talk about breathing. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and exhale precious oxygen. We humans, well, birds, breathe in that oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. It's a beautiful, perfectly balanced dance. But what happens when you introduce a million other messy factors, like sweat, dead leaves, and, bathroom breaks? On old Earth, nature had vast oceans, massive forests, and billions of years to slowly filter out our mess. But inside the dome, we have exactly a few hours before our own waste turns the air completely toxic and the water deadly. So every single drop of moisture is meticulously tracked. Every drop of sweat, every breath of vapor. The dome ceiling acts like a giant mechanical cloud, sucking up vapor and condensing it into pristine artificial rain. But what about the solid and liquid waste? Oh yes, we're going there. Flushing a toilet in a biodome doesn't send it to a magical ocean. It goes straight to the bioreactor. Inside, armies of specialized hungry bacteria go to work, violently munching down the toxic sludge. They break it down into base elements, which are then shoved through incredibly fine nanofilters at high pressure. The result? The most chemically pure, perfectly clean drinking water you will ever taste in your entire life. Yes, you are technically drinking your own extensively filtered pee, but hey, cheers to survival. Water and veggies are great, but what about protein? We can't exactly fit a herd of cows in here. They are simply too big and too greedy. A single cow requires ridiculous amounts of water, food, and space. Plus, they produce enough methane gas from both ends to suffocate the entire dome. So, say goodbye to traditional heavy steaks and massive ranches, and say a warm hello to the undisputed six-legged champion of the future diet. Bugs. Yes, really. Crickets and mealworms are protein-packed super machines. They take up practically zero space, drink almost nothing, and breed at an absolutely terrifying speed. Pound for pound, insect farming is 100 times more efficient than any mammal. It's the ultimate sustainable superfood to keep humanity muscular. And the best part? When ground up, heavily seasoned, and pressed into a patty, it tastes exactly like a premium burger. Just don't look too closely. But bugs bring us to our next massive hurdle. Without the natural blowing wind or millions of wild bees, how do the plants actually pollinate? If a flower doesn't get pollinated, you don't get fruit. The plant just drops the flower and you slowly starve to death. No pressure. We could pollinate every single blossom by hand with a tiny paintbrush, but that would take an army of farmers working exhausting 24-hour shifts. Instead, we engineered a superior robotic replacement. Meet the autonomous robo-bee, a marvel of microengineering and artificial intelligence. It's small, fast, and never gets tired. These sleek micro-drones are equipped with soft, hair-like brushes and advanced AI vision. They live in centralized, high-tech hives, charging wirelessly and ready to deploy at a moment's notice. They flawlessly swarm the vertical farms, gently buzzing from flower to flower, transferring pollen with mathematical robotic perfection. Nature, but completely digitized. The entire biodome is a masterpiece of artificial control. Every single variable, light, water, protein, pollination, is balanced perfectly on a microscopic knife's edge. But here is the terrifying catch about playing God. A natural forest is resilient and can survive disasters. A hyper-tuned machine is decidedly not. Because it's a completely closed-loop system, if just one single crucial piece of code fails, or one main power cable suddenly snaps, everything instantly stops. Without power, the massive cooling fans grind to a sudden halt. The robotic misters stop spraying. Without soil to hold moisture, the dangling roots dry out completely in just a few short hours. The perfectly engineered plants, completely stripped of their continuous life support, violently wither into brown dust. The incredible insulation that kept the heat out now violently traps the heat inside. The temperature skyrockets. Within a single day, the entire glorious high-tech oasis simply transforms into an extremely expensive glass tomb. There is absolutely zero margin for error. In the biodome, nature doesn't forgive mistakes, because nature isn't there anymore. But despite these terrifying risks, these colossal structures are a magnificent testament to human intellect. We have proven that when pushed to the absolute brink, we can literally bend the fundamental laws of nature to our will. We can engineer entire complex ecosystems from absolute scratch, placing every microscopic piece perfectly together. And we can successfully carry the fragile, glowing spark of life straight through the darkest apocalyptic night. But as we sit in our glowing neon bubbles, eating our delicious bug burgers, there is an ultimate ironic twist. We are actually currently already living inside the most flawlessly designed biodome in the entire universe. Think about it. We don't need to invent billions of highly complicated nanofilters to have clean air, because we already have a massive, completely free, naturally self-cleaning water and oxygen cycle. We don't need to build giant purple energy shields to bounce off deadly UV rays, because we already have an invisible, invincible magnetic force field. So, while biodomes are incredible, necessary technological marvels for a post-apocalyptic worst-case scenario, wouldn't it be infinitely cheaper, easier, and honestly, a lot less stressful to just take care of the giant, beautiful, free glass bubble we already have? Because if this one breaks, there is absolutely no backup generator, no reboot switch, and no second chances. We clearly have the technology and intellect to survive the absolute end of the world. But maybe, just maybe, we should use that genius to stop the world from ending in the first place. Speaking of human genius and learning complex scientific systems, you can build your own brain's biodome with today's sponsor, Brilliant. They have thousands of interactive, bite-sized lessons on science, engineering, and logic. Click the link in the description to start learning and support what we do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this beautifully animated existential dread, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.